the CEOs that I talk to, especially, they're just used to seeing these increases. They're just used to not having control of this area of their business where they control everything else. It's actually an interesting conversation because for CEOs that are so in control of their entire business to even pretend or believe for 1 minute they can't control something is actually interesting, that they're willing to let go of that, especially knowing how expensive it is every year. But it truly is. It's, we've brainwashed them, right? We've brainwashed them over how many years of telling them that there's nothing they can do. Trend is 12% and they have 120% loss ratio. And again, all the numbers make sense fundamentally until you dig in, until you're willing to look at things differently. And I truly think over the last 2 or 3 years, employers are hitting the break point of wanting to learn and understand. But then I'd say COVID and all that crap that came along with it and all the remote and all the challenges with recruitment and people not going back to work has actually, they still have the ideas. They think they can make some changes, but now they're battling what are the outcomes of those changes and what are the repercussions of us making a change that might be detrimental to our population, instead of thinking about, well, heck, if we get rid of a logo, does that really matter as long as my employees can still see a doctor that they want to see? And maybe we can give them more tools to make better educated decisions. And really, everyone thinks it's a takeaway when you get rid of this logo versus maybe that's freedom. Maybe getting rid of that logo is a little bit more freeing in the ability to provide better benefits for employees.
Welcome to the RockstarsRocking podcast, powered by Voluntary Disruption, a show dedicated to people who are crushing their business and life goals. These are bite-sized conversations with leading rock stars in their respective industry who are pumped to share their story to help drive you to the next level. So, are you ready to rock? Speaking of rock stars, here's your host, Eric Silverman.
Hey, rock stars, welcome back to another episode of RockstarsRocking, where you know it. I say it every single week. I only have the finest, the best of the best rock stars that are doing so well in their personal and their business life. And this week, got to tell you, it's no exception. This week, I'm so excited to have my longtime friend, Braden Monaco, on the show. Braden, for those that don't know, is the top 5 BenefitsPRO magazine broker of the year finalist. And he just happens to be the owner or one of the 3 owners, managing partner, I should say, of Blue Horizon Benefits out of Massachusetts. What's up, Braden?
How we doing, my dude? What's up?
Oh, man, I'm so pumped to have you on the program. It's been a long time coming. I'm so excited for you and the honor. For those listening, we're recording here in the middle of May, and I'm going to be with Braden next week when BenefitsPRO magazine announces the actual winner. So by the time you listen to this, there may or may not be a winner yet. I don't know when this will actually get released, but nonetheless, man, I'm just so fired up for you. Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy. I'm really excited about it. It's, I guess, a culmination of hard work and passion and some discipline, but more or less it's the good team I have behind me. It's not just about me, obviously, it's about everybody else. And I know everyone says that, but without them, I truly, sales guy is nothing without the team they have behind them. So
absolutely. So what you're saying is, without meeting me many years ago, you would have nothing.
Boom.
I know that's literally the best of the best right there. You guys can hang up now. You don't need to listen to anything further. He said it all. The end. So look, I mean, here's the crazy part, right? You've been in the benefits world for a while, but Blue Horizon Benefits, where you're getting honored from, you guys haven't been around all that long. It's only been, I guess June will be, what is that? 8 years in June. So tell me about Blue Horizon. Like what on earth are you doing over at Blue Horizon with your partners and your clients that would allow you to be among the best of the best, top 5? And those listening, by the way, just think about that for a minute. There are tens of thousands, multiple thousands of advisors and brokers and consultants out in the marketplace in the insurance and employee benefit space that could have been up for this award, and hundreds that were nominated, I'm sure. And after pouring through all those people, they picked Braden Monaco as a top 5, which that shocks me. Trust. No, I'm just kidding. But nonetheless,
me too, buddy.
What is
me
it?
Too.
I know, right? What is it that got you up there, man? What are you doing?
I don't know. I think we're just consistent, right? I think that there's as a level of partnership that we put into everyday dealings with our clients that is something that has made a real big difference. So we'll get into the story maybe at some point, but we came from another firm, working hard, trying to build our relationships and our organization where we were, and at some point we just realized that the partnership and the goal of being true advisors, not just brokers and supporting, what insurance they want today, but truly business level advisors was not something we, were primed to do. And that's something that truthfully, if it wasn't for my clients and the interest in supporting them and honestly getting involved strategically in their organization's big picture, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, insurance is not exciting. It's not glamorous. No one wakes up every morning really excited to talk about deductibles and co-insurance and co-pays. We talk about helping people and guiding people through a convoluted, confusing industry. And I think as a team, over the last, I think it's 6 years, since 2016, at the end of the day, we're just, nose down, grinding, really helping our clients. It's no secret that hard work pays off. And I think for us at the end of the day, fundamentally, are we doing what a lot of advisors are doing? Yes. But do we take it to another level? Truly believe so, in the level of care and compassion and understanding that we take to truly be, advisors to their business, not just to, their insurance plan.
And by the way, for those that paid attention just now, I obviously failed math in college because I think I said that Blue Horizon's been around 8 years, coming up in June. He subtly just reminded me 6 years, and I like that a lot. Trust me, I am no math whiz, so thank you for that.
Well, it's funny you did the math, and I didn't correct you right away because I was trying to do math myself, and I didn't want to screw it up. So fair enough, I'm not either. So
no, that's all right. I'll fall on my own sword, and this is candid. We're not stopping that's and starting over here. So all right, so I have a question, right? So I know a lot of advisors and brokers all across the country. I partner with so many of them, and I'm friends with so many others, and a lot of folks have challenges within their states based on various laws, and you can do this, you can't do that. Talk to me about Massachusetts. I don't know much about Massachusetts. Is it pretty easy going when it comes to being innovative? Does it allow you the freedom and creativity to have some fun with your clients, or is it really regimented like a state like I can pick on New York and Washington State and California? These are some really tough states where I have advisor partner friends like yours where they're limited on what they can do for their employers.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Massachusetts was kind of the start of the Affordable Care Act came out of Romney Care here in Massachusetts. A lot of what they did at the federal level came out of Massachusetts and what we had in place back in 2001, even earlier. But as it relates to getting creative, I think more or less it's not so much the state regulations that are stopping us as much as the people. We are in, one of the healthcare capitals of the world, right? I mean, you go downtown Boston, you've got right in Boston, there's like 14 or 18 hospitals or something like that, of which there's 5 or 6 teaching hospitals, and you can throw a stone from one to another. They share parking garages, right? So the idea of consumers understanding how to not be stuck in the rat race of the traditional insurance products is hard. I mean, these consumers have the best healthcare in front of them, and they have so much choice. Where I would say in other parts of the country, these really innovative, creative solutions seem a little easier to implement because you're dealing with one healthcare system within a 100-mile radius. But as it relates to state regulation, I mean, there's certain things in Mass, they have minimum credible coverage things you have to offer, and certain requirements they put into place. But once you go self-funded, some of that stuff kind of falls off a little bit based on where the policies are written out of and such. So more or less, honestly, the creative solutions that you're seeing around the country, they die here with the consumer before I think the state has to even get involved. So we're doing some good things trying to push that forward. There's a lot of innovative advisors in Massachusetts that are trying to really educate employers, and I think that's where we're being stuck, is that it's not a short process. We've got to continue to educate employers on how the insurance system works so that they can start to make educated decisions.
So it's interesting to hear you say that, because I've asked that question before, and I want you to maybe, if you can, dig a little bit deeper. You say how it's not as much the state legislature, it's not as much the regulation coming down from the state or even in a federal capacity, but it's the true consumer of healthcare, or the owner, occupant, the founder, the managing partner of XYZ company. So I guess what you're saying is that you can present all of the innovative ideas and solutions to help them save money and have higher quality care for themselves and their employees, but they kind of get in their own way. Is that more or less what you mean?
Yeah, I definitely think they trip over the idea, right? They see it, they understand it, they're frustrated with it. I've been, a lot of my clients I've had for 14 or 15 years, and we've been talking about increases. I literally at times just called myself the Grim Reaper, right? Like, I'm just bringing bad news every year. And I just blame it on somebody else, and they like me because hopefully I'm likable and they trust me and all that, and we move on. But, over the last 5 or 6 years, I've really, frankly, like I said, I'm getting frustrated. My team's getting frustrated. We have no control. So we're trying to educate these employers, and they understand that, they need data to make decisions. They need, they understand that the healthcare system's broken, and employees aren't getting the care and quality that they need. But then it comes down to making a decision fundamentally for 100 employees, and they've had a Blue Cross Blue Shield logo or a local HMO logo on their card for a better part of 10 years or whatever it might be, and to switch to something that's not a brand recognized by their employees is scary. And I get it. Like, that's, especially right now with recruitment and retention efforts, and, employers calling me saying, I've got to start paying more for my healthcare. I've got to offer more benefits. Obviously, the life cycle, the ecosystem of these employers has changed over the last few years, certainly, with remote workforces. And so they're just hesitant. They're skeptical. They're hesitant because, they've been taught for years that there's really nothing they can do. So once they hear there's something they can do, even though they want to do it, they're hesitant. I think it just comes down to us as advisors to continue to educate, advise them, get them to understand the pros and cons of it, and then let them make educated decisions for themselves.
So what do you, I mean, you touched on a little bit, but let's dig even deeper, right? What's stopping an employer? So I'm the owner of a plumbing company with 100 people or less or more. I'm an owner of a law firm with 100 people. It doesn't matter the industry.
Yep.
Aside from them getting in their own way, and do you think there's a little bit or a lot of it being, I don't know, maybe they think it's too good to be true what you're presenting to them? They have more, a lot of times they have more or less a defeatist attitude where, it's like, it's just a system. You're just a cog in the wheel. There's nothing you can do. Is it a little bit of everything? What do you think?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the CEOs that I talk to, especially, they're just used to seeing these increases. They're just used to not having control of this area of their business where they control everything else. It's actually an interesting conversation, because for CEOs that are so in control of their entire business to even pretend or believe for 1 minute they can't control something is actually interesting, that they're willing to let go of that, especially knowing how expensive it is every year. But it truly is. It's, we've brainwashed them, right? We've brainwashed them over how many years of telling them that there's nothing they can do. Trend is 12% and they have 120% loss ratio. And again, all the numbers make sense fundamentally until you dig in, until you're willing to look at things differently. And I truly think over the last 2 or 3 years, employers are hitting the break point of wanting to learn and understand. But then I'd say COVID and all that crap that came along with it, and all the remote and all the challenges with recruitment and people not going back to work, has actually, they still have the ideas. They think they can make some changes, but now they're battling what are the outcomes of those changes and what are the repercussions of us making a change that might be detrimental to our population, instead of thinking about, well, heck, if we get rid of a logo, does that really matter? As long as my employees can still see a doctor that they want to see, and maybe we can give them more tools to make better educated decisions. And really, everyone thinks it's a takeaway when you get rid of this logo, versus maybe that's freedom. Maybe getting rid of that logo is a little bit more freeing in the ability to provide better benefits for employees.
So let me ask you this. You put in, let's use this example because I know it's true. You put in an incredible benefits package, higher quality, lesser cost. You're steering and driving people to the right providers. They're getting quality of care second to none. so you can do all that for me. I'm an employee of the company, but how do you disseminate the information to the employee, the end user, the actual consumer of healthcare, to get them to really understand the the benefits in general, why there's no logo on the card, as an example. But, I guess where I'm going with this is, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're a one-call closed sales guy. Maybe you can meet with the owner of a plumbing company and he loves you and signs on the dotted line. Most people are not like that. So arguably you're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, could be 8, 10 meetings over the course of months or years to bring in a prospect and move them to the client line. And that's fair. But it takes you to explain it over and over and over. And you're talking to arguably the most educated people at the company. So it takes so many meetings to get arguably the most educated people at the company to understand it. And then finally, a light bulb goes off. And I think you might even agree that sometimes they say it's going off, they still don't quite get it, but they're taking a leap of faith and they're trusting you. Right. How on earth, as an advisor, do you then disseminate that to 100 employees who they could be really educated and make a lot of money, but they don't know benefits?
Right. I think you got to reduce it to the ridiculous. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to really just hit them where they're using healthcare. I mean, most employees are using copays for doctor's visits and prescription drugs. Other people, other than that, the beauty of having the data when we look at these plans is that you can actually target the education to the people that are going to use it, and you can kind of build your education around that. More importantly, I mean, it's using vendor partners that have the ability to help us, right? I mean, the ability to help steer employees, give employees, one click, one call or navigation, somewhere they can call and have advocacy. Obviously our team supports our clients in any areas in which they need, but when it comes down to, hundreds of employees and trying to educate, I think that, you take it a little bit of it at a time. Obviously our open enrollment meeting, consists of some basic level understanding of how to utilize the plan differently. I think one of the big things that helps us overcome the challenge of this is different and what's this mean to my family, is that we're trying to educate employees on the fact that your employer is making these decisions, not just to benefit them financially, but to benefit you as an employee as well, right? At the end of the day, every claim today is tomorrow's premium. So, if employees are utilizing Mass General or these high cost facilities for everything, they're going to pay for it. So trying to get them to understand, people make a decision every day what grade gasoline they're going to put in their car, despite what someone tells them. So people are stubborn, but if you give them the tools and resources to understand what decisions they're making and how their decisions impact themselves and or the organization down the line, I think you bite it off a little bit at a time, and over time, people really start to understand the value in it.
So when it comes to the benefits world, like I imagine you grew up as a little boy and you used to say, "Papa, I want to sell insurance when I get older." Like I imagine that's how you got started in the insurance world, right? You majored in college in the insurance space. You wanted to be an actuary. Like, tell me about how you started, because for me it was a complete accident. I didn't study anything to do with insurance.
Mine's beyond an accident. I went to school for criminal justice. I wanted to be in the FBI. I wanted to be a criminal investigator of some sort.
But similar, insurance, yeah, FBI, very close.
Yeah, we can go after the insurance, white collar crimes and stuff, right? But no, I mean, at the end of the day, I went to school for criminal justice my senior year. I had done an internship with the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. Went out on crime scenes and investigations that I never thought I'd see or witness, and saw things that I truthfully, I never want to see again.
Wow. Things you can't unsee.
Yeah. I mean, I started having, in a 3-month window of a semester-long internship, I started having reoccurring dreams with certain things in them from scenes that I had seen. I mean, I had seen everything from brutal car accidents to murder, homicides to, anyway. So did that, realized at the end of the day, I'm too happy of a person to live in a jaded world.
Wow.
And most of the folks that I worked around in that were, they're amazing human beings, but they definitely had a jaded edge to them, right? They see the worst of the worst every day. So I wanted to help people. I didn't really know what that looked like, and I needed a job. So my uncle got me a job at an insurance agency in Boston literally doing claims. So I was doing commercial property claims. I was adjusting large scale commercial claims. But I was inside at a cubicle every day. Realized after probably about 2.5 years that, trying to progress, trying to become, started as literally filing things and photocopying and worked up to, a junior assistant or whatever, and kept trying to work up, and realized one day that the job I was working to was still going to be in a cubicle, just in a different floor. And that wasn't something I was interested in. So my good friend of mine was a personal trainer. He was training a gentleman that was looking for a young sales guy he could introduce to the benefits industry. I interviewed at a few different places and realized that that's kind of where I wanted to be. It was a small company. It was somewhere I felt as though I could have an impact. I could work hard and have an impact and have a future. Was there for about 8 years or so. Built a very healthy block of business, almost doubled the book of business in 4 or 5 years of actually selling. For the last few years, I was trying to earn equity in the business, right? Obviously as a producer that's growing, we pull on every family string we have, every friend. We do everything we can to build these business, blocks of business to build an income. And this obviously even since 2000, the early 2000s, that ever since there's been major acquisitions. So, and the 2010-12, I heard rumblings of agency being, sought after, and didn't, for me, I was like, well, what's that mean to me? So I kept trying to get equity. I'm working on it, they said, and never really happened. And at one point we were out on a team building conference in California, and it was me and the whole team of leadership of the organization. And the owner decided 48 hours in that he wanted to go home. So he left us in California. And right then I was like, clearly the writing's on the wall that it's time to go do something on my own, because, I realized quickly that in these small insurance agencies, there's a piece of like, either this is a means to support my family, or I'm building a business. And I think that most folks that run the small agencies are looking at it as a means to run, a lifestyle business for their family, and not trying to build a business. But once you have, 8, 10, 12 employees, it's a business now. You've got other people to look after. And I just didn't see that was the future. So here we are, really trying to provide the place that we wanted to the people that work for us, and provide a place that, we're obviously always looking out for our clients and not our best interest at the end of the day.
So you're on a team building. Like, I just find that fascinating. You're on a team building event in California, 3,000 miles away. And the leadership, the head of the company that you're at, decides he doesn't want to be there anymore. And he goes home and just leaves you guys there. And what did all of you have the same rumblings and just say, this is insane. Let's just strategize and figure out how to leave and go get another job? Or did somebody have the idea of let's just get together and do it ourselves?
You look at each other and you're like, what are we doing?
Right.
Well, this is, we're working our butts off to build something for someone, which is fine. At the end of the day, someone owns a business. They're entitled to earn a very good living. They're entitled to make decisions and make the rules. But at the end of the day, you live and you die by the decisions you make as a leader, and you see that across from small business to, Fortune 500. You live and you die by the decisions you make. And, at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. It's never was, never will be. But we just had different, visions of what we wanted for our careers, and we just couldn't have them there. And especially in a small business, there's not a lot of negotiation that can happen, right? Because you have no control.
So you and a couple colleague employees, I guess, or producers, you just kind of put your heads together and just decided, hey, let's do it. And you opened up Blue Horizon like the next month. Like, you guys don't mess around. You move fast.
It was quick. It was, at the end of the day, I looked at it and I was like, what, are we going to sit here and wait, or we're just going to jump in? And I would argue that everybody had probably thought about it at one point, and this was just kind of that cherry on top. The beauty of our business, and I think back to the question you had earlier about what makes us unique, is that our 3 partners here are all in different disciplines. So traditionally you see, a bunch of producers go out and grow something together because they're the rainmakers, so to say. But I've always believed in the team. I'm a team athlete. I love team sports. So for me, at the end of the day, I'm only as good as the team I have. And so we're made up of myself, kind of the business development producer role, and my partner Andrea, She's, 20 plus years of account management and client relationships. And then my partner, Chris, his whole background was in benefit technology, voluntary benefits. He rolled out voluntary benefits for the, Foxwoods casinos, the state of New Mexico. So he's, again, another 20 plus year veteran in the industry of, in different avenues of the industry. But, I always kind of say it's like with our powers combined, we create something that, we have different disciplines working together for the same goal. And it's been very successful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love hearing stories like that. Everybody's got a unique story, but I remember you told me that years ago when we first met, and I just always remembered that being kind of crazy that not only were you left out there, but I think you basically planned your new business opportunity on his dime while out in California,
sitting there waiting for him to come back, and nobody came back. And at the end of the day, there you are, right? It's
I love it.
Again, I look at it at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your destiny. Whatever you want to do with it, do with it. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't rely on somebody else to get you where you want to be. You can't wait for someone to make a decision that's in your best interest.
Sure.
At the end of the day, I just don't envision most people are going to make the decision that you want for you.
Well, and what you really did is you added speed to the equation. I like one of my mentors that I've had on the podcast before a few months ago, Adam Michaels. He always taught me, and the thousands of other people he taught, he used to always have the saying, move fast and break shit. Just go, just stop thinking. You're going to overanalyze it to death and you're never going to make a move. So I like how, I don't know if you broke anything, but you move fast and you break shit. And maybe you probably did. You had probably made some mistakes along the way. No doubt.
There were plenty early on that could have cost us a lot. And then, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a firm believer that if you jump and the shoe doesn't open, you'll bounce. Like at the end of the day, at that point, my second daughter was on the way, and I had a 2-year-old, and I just said to my wife, I'm like, at that point, was I 30, 33? And I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it. Right. And
sure.
I came from an entrepreneurial family. My dad was a builder, owned his own business. My grandfather owned a machine shop for years. I just my brother owns his own CrossFit gyms. I fundamentally just believe that if you want to make something happen for yourself, if you're not in control of it, then, you never know what's going to happen. So the entrepreneurial spirit for me I was always thinking about it. Like I had conversations with other buddies of mine that owned insurance agencies and how could I go help them grow and do all this. And, truly, I didn't take a lot of those opportunities that would have been more lucrative for me because of the team that I had. I really believed in my team. I really believed in the organization I was at. But I just didn't believe in the leadership of it. So that's kind of where rubber met the road, for sure.
So you're talking about entrepreneurship, your family and your brother and so forth. You also, you're co-founder, you're an owner of one of the CrossFit gyms franchises. I don't know how exactly it's called. Talk to me about that, because I've known you a while. You've personally tried to help me a little bit, although I'm a stubborn a-hole sometimes. But you're big into health and fitness. You're my hero, my friend. So talk about what it's like owning a CrossFit gym, and even talk about what it was like during the pandemic. Like, did that have I imagine, a negative impact? I'm not sure what was going on out there. For those only listening on the podcast, right, he's pointing to his receding hairline. Unless you're watching it on YouTube, you might not see his pointing.
It happens the best. All right. So, it's actually interesting. These two stories tie together really well. I'd say 2000, my brother opened his first gym 2011. I fell in love with the sport of CrossFit just as a community-based fitness model. Again, a college athlete myself and playing sports my whole life. I love the camaraderie of team sports, and I couldn't find that after college working out. So for me, at the end of the day, CrossFit was kind of that outlet. Obviously, it was a stress outlet. It was a relationship outlet for me and my family. Changed my dad's life, changed my brother's life, mine. So that was, we competed early on in different local and regional competitions. My brother's team originally first year went to the CrossFit Games, so it was rooted in competition to start. But that we then fast forward a few years, me and my brother and my dad opened another CrossFit gym together. The other entity was my brother's alone. That was my first, jump into entrepreneurship of any facet. I think that I jumped into it, and in 2015 we opened it because something was missing in my career.
So I didn't even get this. So now I see it. So you started that a year before you together started Blue Horizon.
Right. So I think I was missing something, and I was missing the ability to use my creative juices and my thought process to build something, build a brand, build a business. But in combination of one of the main reasons why I got into the health insurance industry, despite just falling into it, one of the reasons why I chose this industry versus the P&C or the business side of insurance was because I wanted to help people get better. I wanted to help companies save money. I wanted to help people become healthier. Obviously, wellness programs fell flat. We tried doing all those different things. I tried putting fitness facilities in my client's office. I tried doing, building networks of gyms to get people to go to, and you just can't force that hand on people, right? So one of the things that CrossFit brought to me in opening that facility in 2015 was the fact that I could now have an outlet to then help people, coaching people. I was getting up in the morning, coming in late at night, between job or before and after work, coaching, making an impact on people's lives, because that was truly what I wanted to do all the way back to criminal justice, right? I wanted to help people. But then I realized in that role, I was helping the people that didn't want to be helped. You go to, health insurance and you're trying to help businesses save money, which is great. But then you try to help employees with wellness programs. Who takes advantage of a wellness program but the employee that's already in shape? So now you fast forward to the gym and you start bringing people in that are, they're willing, they're coming on their own devices to get there. So now you're really helping them. So to me, that was kind of, it got my ability to help people and my will to help people out, as well as hit some of the entrepreneurial, juices that I had. And then again, fast forward less than a year and the insurance agency was open in 2016. So, again, now at least I have some of the ability to, put my own stamp on how things are run or how we're, working with our clients and such. So health and wellness has been a big for my family, my wife, especially, a lot of our early, bonding and relationships were based around competing together in CrossFit competitions. If you Google Braden, Monaco or CrossFit Route 1, you'll see us working out at, different competitions and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. I'll always remember that. My kids are in the gym all the time now. I got stuff in my garage. My daughter's making up little workouts with her friends at 5 years old. And, for me, it's important. I think, we talk about how do we solve the healthcare problem in our country? And it's not through health insurance, right? It's through making people healthier and providing them the tools and resources to understand that the decisions they make every day are going to impact their health and their financials down the line. So it all comes together in some twisted little story. But at the end of the day, it's all rooted in really just trying to help people get healthier.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I look at it for me, like I'm a guy that needs accountability. So, there was, it's hard to imagine because I don't talk about it often, but there was a time in my life in college where I was still my best friend, but he doesn't live close anymore. We were neighbors in the apartment, and he would drag my ass out of bed every day and make me work out. And I didn't like it, but he held me accountable and I appreciated it. And I don't have that. And I haven't had that in years. So I can appreciate what you said about the community and the ability to impact lives. And you go in early before you work in benefits, and then you go back to the gym or to help other people later. So I have done that. And anytime I've ever hired a trainer, somebody, as I say, to kick my ass, it's benefited me greatly. And I it's just my personality, but maybe you would agree. I think that's the vast majority of people are in that position where they need somebody to hold them accountable.
Yeah, it's a rare breed that can get up every morning and go exercise on their own, and they're doing it for their own well-being. I'll say my wife is one of those people that she doesn't look for praises. She just does it for her own mental and physical well-being. I think social media has been an interesting accountability partner for a lot of people. I've always wondered why people post pictures of themselves working out or videos of them squatting or whatever. And after talking to a lot of people about it, I think the root of it comes back to accountability, right? If you post a picture, you did it, and I don't do it as much because my other people hold me accountable. But when you post something, you're accountable to it, right? So you say I'm going to do 75 hard, and you don't post something on day 3, people are like, how are you going to get to day 75? Right.
No,
So,
you're right.
you
People
know,
have said that.
it's, for me, it's, you can sign into class from our phone beforehand. I'm like, every night, just sign into tomorrow. And if you don't show up, someone's going to call you out for it. So,
That's good.
so I think the accountability, most people don't have it. And I think that everyone finds a different way to hold themselves accountable, whether it's the way their clothes fit, whether it's, how they feel when they wake up, how their body feels, their emotional state, their well-being with their families or whatever. But accountability, one way or another, I think, is one of the most important parts of maintaining, a balanced health.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, man, I appreciate you coming on. As we wrap up, the only other thing I wanted to ask you is talk to me about what you're doing with you have a new healthcare solution you've been working on a lot with DPC, or direct primary care, trying to benefit your local employers to get their employees better quality coverage. Can you expound upon that just a little bit before we wrap up?
Yeah. So about a year ago, a friend of mine came to me. He's a serial CEO. He's working with local medical practice. Local medical practice has about 28,000 patients. The doctor himself, as well as his colleagues, are kind of sick and tired of being on the rat wheel of being a primary care doctor in the insurance world. Because then obviously we all know they're not able to practice the way they want to. So the visionary was this local Dr. Mark Alara. He brought in a whole team. He's got about 12 employees working on this, I'll call it startup or pre-revenue. And I got brought in as an advisor. For me, it's exciting because I can kind of help shape the way the plans and product is being built, as well as have a solution for my clients that otherwise around here didn't have a local brand or local representation. So again, it's a healthcare solution. It's not, it's backed by obviously stop loss, health insurance, independent TPAs, all that stuff. Everybody, talks to you and you bring on here knows about. But most importantly, I think what drew me to it was the fact that it's founded and being built by local practitioners, doctors, ancillary facilities that are frustrated with the way the system is being built. So, very similar to what you're seeing around the country with direct primary care, but in this case, trying to support direct primary care with insurance so employers can buy a total solution versus kind of the DPC on top of the medical plan. But it's exciting. It's been fun. It's been challenging. Obviously, it's on top of everything else I'm doing. But for me, it's keeping my brain sharp on new solutions, what's going on, understanding the intricacies of medical billing and coding and, J codes and all the different billing systems, stuff that in our industry, most of us would never need to know. But I think the more we know, the better we can do our jobs and the better we can advise our clients.
That technology stuff and those codes, I think you need to outsource that part to Chris because he's the tech guy.
Just understanding what goes into medical billing is nauseating.
Oh my God. It makes my head hurt.
For obvious reasons. Me too. Absolutely.
Well, listen, man, it's been fun talking with you as always. We talk quite often either way, but certainly not on video and not on audio.
I'm excited I got here.
Yeah, man. No, I'm excited to have you and I'm super pumped. Gosh, we're recording this on a Tuesday, so I'm pretty sure by this time next week in Austin, we will know who the number one, I should say, or the top broker of the year who wins for BenefitsPRO. But like I said, and I've said this to everybody over the years that have been in the similar position as you, who are good friends of mine, it's all on the marketing and making sure that you're excited. You're a winner regardless. The top five is a ridiculous honor.
I've won. I'm just excited that the efforts we put in, I'm never one that looks for rewards. I definitely didn't come from the trophy generation.
No participation trophies.
And it still kills me that they're still kind of doing it with my kids, and I'm trying to take them away from them. But
pains me. You're right.
But at the end of the day, it's proof that what we're doing is good work, and that we're out there and people know who we are, and that's for me, that's enough.
All right. Well, look, Everybody, if you're not already connected with or following Braden Monaco on LinkedIn, go ahead and hit the connect button or hit the follow button. Send him a direct message on LinkedIn if you have any questions or thoughts, or if you just want to connect. What you should not do, though, is send him a bunch of spam sales stuff, because he's not looking to buy your stuff. This is a relationship.
I won't even see it. But.
See, but it's a relationship business. We all get those.
That's it, buddy.
I always just say, don't spam people in the DM. Braden, what's your website for anybody listening that wants to check out your site?
Easy. BlueHorizonBenefits.com.
BlueHorizonBenefits.com. Perfect. And look, man, I say it all the time. I just show up and ask some questions and have some fun with people. But I don't do any of the back office stuff, the technology and the editing. So that's my team of rock stars. So I appreciate them very much, just like I appreciate everybody listening. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas for myself or for Braden, please don't be shy. Leave them in the comment section below. Wherever you're listening or watching, we appreciate you. And like I said, I don't do it all. So for everybody behind the scenes at the Rockstars Rocking podcast, I'm Eric Silverman. That was and always will be Braden Monaco. And I don't wish anybody to have a good day or have a good week. Go ahead and make it a good day and make it a great week. I'll see you, my friend, next week in Austin. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, bud.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Rockstars Rocking podcast. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. 5 stars would totally rock. Until next time, Rockstars, keep rocking.